Hello and very warm welcome to all of you. I am Dr. Ruhi Lal, Associate Professor, Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Noida. I shall be talking about the basic concepts about the principles of advertising, the various subtopics of the subjects I am going to discuss today, which are how advertising agency earn revenue, agency remuneration process, the agency payment method which varies from agency to agency depending upon the discounting, size, kind of media usage and responsibility allocated. So, there are several methods which agency earn revenue. 15% commission method, fixed salary method, performance based commission method and markup. So, we will talk about 15% commission method. The advertiser pays the total cost of the advertising to the agency and agency keeps 15% with them and pay the rest 85% to the media. The total cost of the advertisement is called as the gross amount by the industry and 85% of the advertising amount is called as net amount by the industry. This 15% commission varies from agency to agency depending upon the client. So, that is the method. 15% revenue goes to the advertising agency and 85% goes to the media. The other method is fixed salary method. The advertising agency charges extra money on the basis of specific duties assigned to them. A certain fee is charged for specific work assigned such as product innovation, branding strategies, servicing and other marketing branding related work. So, agency charges extra for extra services offered to the client and for that they charge a fixed amount of money every month which we called fixed salary method. The third method is performance based commission. So, the advertiser may additional incentive the client gives on the basis of the extraordinary performance of the client. When advertiser is very much satisfied with the work of advertising agency, the creativity of the advertising agency and they find growth in the sales due to advertising campaign. So, they pay extra money to the advertising agency as an incentive to the agency and which we call performance based commission. The other method of commission is markup. So, markup is an extra money charged by the agency from the advertiser by adding extra charges on the total cost incurred in order to make profit. The total bill reflects the actual cost as well as the extended cost on variable expenses for making extra money by the agency. So, that is a method of earning more revenue from the client. So, these are the methods of earning revenue. Now, we will talk about client agency contract, which is another very important concept in advertising agency. So, the contract starts by signing MOU between the advertiser and the agency, which is memorandum of understanding, and the agency has to assure client that it has necessary expertise and manpower to perform the network and services specified by the client. During the presentation, agency will offer its professional services, and at the time of signing MOU between the client and the agency, the client will agree to utilize the professional services of the agency. So, obligation of the agency expressly agrees to obtain client's written permission before using any promotional material in relation to the services. And the professional responsibility of the client. Agency will always work for the benefit of the client, and agency will never knowingly take any action inconsistent with the client's interest. An agency will not perform any work or services for any person or entity, including self-employment, competing with clients and its products being handled by the agency without client's prior written permission. So, compensation and payment consideration of the services being provided by the agency, client will pay for the agency during the term of MOU. A basic compensation fee of rupees few lakh, that depends as per the contract signed between the client and the agency per month. Now we will talk about the briefing process, which is also important concept in understanding advertising agency. Briefing is most crucial process in any agency functioning. The brief gives the direction to entire advertising planning creation process. Background advertising brief, key brand characteristics and brand performance vis-a-vis competitive analysis. These are the important part of the briefing. Previous advertising of the brand and the competition. What would be the budget, media and non-media budget? Then media brief, target audience profile will be discussed during briefing meeting, and suggested media, geographical market priorities, seasonality of the sales, duration of the campaign, media budget, all will be discussed when the briefing will take place, and the briefing will be given by the client to the agency. So, the creative brief will be done where only the creative aspect will be discussed. Target audience profile will be discussed, campaign requirement will be discussed, brand promise will be discussed by the client to the agency, and desired brand image as per the client will be communicated to the agency. Personality of brand will be discussed by the agency and the client. So, there is a typical workflow in advertising agency: briefing from client, internal briefing to creative and media, any research briefing, ad campaign and media plan development. Then there will be internal review and finalization, presentation to client and approvals. So, advertising brief is given to the agency by the client. It consists of few standard parameters. Who are we talking to? That means the target audience. What are we going to talk about? How are we saying it? What it required? Other key bits of information. So, these are the key points which will be discussed in the briefing. So, the account executive is the client point of contact within the agency, and it's their job to turn an ad brief into a creative brief. So, account handler represents the agency to the advertiser and vice versa, and as a result are professionally disliked by both the sides, because the account handler is the representative of advertising agency to the client, and from client's point of view they will take the brief and discuss to internal department. So, client will always assume that the account handler is trying to edge him off the carefully discussed marketing strategy and onto some idea that will win the agency an award. Like there are many awards: Cannes Lion Award, D&D Award. So, agencies, creative and production people will conclude that the account handler is being very protective in his presentation of client's need, and therefore cramping their creative style at this stage. Egos are hitting up and nicely hackles are rising. So, according to the brief, drafts are done and creative director has gone for a slash and burn to remove all the good bits, and to account handler and left with something which must be printed up on a paper and taken to the client to sell. After subsequent meeting, a couple of weeks of toing and froing, the result will be something which bears little resemblance to the original draft, will give more space to product feature, range of sizes, available colors. So it will be around this time that rumbling will be heard within the agency, but rather along the lines of why hire us make advertising if they are going to dictate the creative. So this is a part of creative process in every agency, which is known as the great wine. So what points to be taken care of when the creative department will work, that mistakes and oversights in the brief could throw the entire advertising process on the wrong track. Briefing is the funneling process to ensure that the creative and media efforts focus on the essentials rather than getting lost in all kind of available information. So client brief outlines the key market situation, the marketing problems that need to be solved, the role of advertising in that, and what advertising is expected to achieve. So any information that the agency feels might be necessary to work out its own internal brief need to be extracted from the client here itself. Most agencies have a standardized brief format which guides the account management people to collect all relevant information available with the client. Benefits of client relationship marketing: retailing customer for long-term offers many benefit, and the aim of the company is to obtain lifetime custom. Some of the benefits of relationship marketing includes loyal customer will recommend our business to other, thus expanding our business. So loyal customers are willing to try some of your new product because they trust you. Customers will willing to pay more for your services product if there are adjustment in pricing because they are loyal to your trust your services. So loyal customer will tell you about the problems with you and product services enabling to improve your product services. So ultimate benefit will be an increased sales, market shares and dominance. Now we will discuss about client agency relationship, which is a very important concept of advertising agency. So according to Bedford Group 2002, the client and agency relationship is one of the most complex forms of business association. They are in need of a good cooperation to be effective and achieve sufficient outcomes for both sides. It's hard-headed, result-oriented marriage intended to produce specific measurable results. Agency-client relationship are not just a mistake, they are very costly as well. The client-agency relationship is a state of interaction between an organization and the public relation firm it hires to represent it. The client-agency relationship is a dynamic decision-making process in which the participants identify, evaluate and choose appropriate communication strategies and alternatives. It is a dynamic evaluation process in which agency and the client learn about each other's strengths and weaknesses, preferences and prejudice. The benefits of using an advertising agency are the added expertise, media knowledge and unbiased advice, easier administration, media buying easier, quality control is there, information is there, fending off the media and when things go wrong. It is cost saving also, time saving. So these are the benefit of hiring an advertising agency. Now we will talk about the factors that contributing to effective client agency relationship. Not to advertise for immediate competitive unit, For better relationship in a long run, agency should not accept business from immediate competing rivals of the client. In turn, the clients too are expected not to engage a second agency for handling part of advertising activities without the consent of the first agency. Prompt payment. The agency should pay the agency bill promptly so that agency can make timely payment to media owners and suppliers of the advertising material, professionals, etc. The client should not accept agency to finance their advertising program. So client should pay bills of agency as well as in time. Passing down cash discount to client. If media gives any cash discount for making payment within a stipulated time, then such discount should be passed down to client, provided the client pays the agency bills by due date. Not blame the agency for media lapse. The client should not blame agency for media lapse related to ad positioning. Here, ad scheduling refers to the time and date of issuing advertisement, and ad positioning refers to the place in print media where ad is given. Good services. The advertising agency must provide good advertising and marketing service to its client. If ad agency provides efficient services at economic rate at appropriate time, then it will help to improve ad agency and client relationship in a long run. There should be written agreement. All the terms and conditions between agency and client should be in writing so as to avoid any dispute in future. These terms can be with regard to fees, percentage of service charges, passing down of cash discount received from media, due date for paying the bill, time to be taken for developing and preparing advertisement, etc. These are the few reasons. So, frequent contact between agency and client for maintaining smooth agency-client relationship between the both parties should interact with each other frequently. This will enable both the parties to understand the problem of each other and to develop understanding between the advertiser and the agency on various advertising decisions. Advertiser should review the advertising agency's work regarding advertising regularly and systematically rather than criticizing it at the end. Regular review and evaluation by client will lead to right course of action at right time. It will improve the coordination between the top executives of client and the agency, and it will promote trust also and confidence in each other. These principles factors contribute to healthy client agency relationship. Their absence will hamper the agency client relationship. Now we will talk about the advertising process. So when preparing our search proposal, we should take into account that the lead in time needed to place an ad can vary anywhere from days to months depending on the publication. We should plan to have our ad approved with an estimate of the cost done at least 1 month prior to the date when we want the ad to be published. The advertising process for the professionals involve writing of an ad, getting approval from the text of the ad, estimating the cost of the advertisement, placing ad and posting announcement and paying for ads. Department. Account management, the major department of an ad agency is account service or management. Account service employee work directly with clients and the potential client soliciting business for ad agency and determining what client need and want the agency to do for them. So they are also charged with understanding the client's business situation and representing those needs within the agency so that ad can be brought to bear on the correct problem. So there are account planners, account director in agency, and the account planner is the main planning executive who work in partnership with the client on long-term account planning. He knows what is happening in the marketplace, the attitude of the customer towards the client as well as the competitors of the brand. So the account planner was originally employed to represent the consumer in the advertising. That is to find the best way to pitch the client product to the people by better understanding them, what they want and how they talk to them. In many agencies, there is a dedicated media department, and there are also some large and small agencies that exclusively handle media strategy and media buying. Account supervisor is a middle management position. He or she manages the account within the medium term perspective, and it includes the strategic planning, market analysis, competitive activity analysis, as well as recognizing and capitalizing on business building opportunities. Account executives, they represent ad agency to their clients. They understand sales and advertising problem of the client and address the client's need to the advertising approach. Account is the client, and the business of each client with the agency is referred to as the account. And an ad agency handles assignment of number of clients. The account agency motivates, guides and coordinates the activities so that deadlines are met and clients' expectations becomes a reality. Now we will talk about the creative department. So creative department, the people who create the actual ad, form the core of an advertising agency. In modern advertising agency, usually from their copywriter, the art director, the creative team, and the team may be permanent partnership or formed on a project by project basis. The art director and copywriter report to creative director. Usually a creative employee with several years of experience, although copywriters have the word right in their job title. And art directors have the word art. One does not necessarily write the word and other draw the picture. They both generate creative ideas to present the proposition, the advertisement or campaign's key message. So creative frequently work with outside design or production studio to develop and implement their ideas. Creative department consists of two key personnel, the art director and the copywriter. These positions and ad agencies explained below. Art director is in advertising, they are not necessarily the head of art department, although the title may suggest it. They typically work in teams with the copywriters. Together the team works on the concepts and design for commercial, print advertisement and television commercial. The advertising medium, art director is mostly responsible for the visual look and feel of the creative product as well as the concept. So the art director ensures that the end product has the same look and feel as the original concept which was given by the client. And the copywriter is a person who writes text or copy for client. Most copywriters work in advertising and marketing, producing copy that's intended to persuade a reader to buy a product or service or otherwise take action. So copywriting involves providing words which are read or heard in advertisement. This may include the slogans, jingles, or detailed text for catalogs, brochure, leaflet, and journals. So, copywriting also takes the form of script for television and film commercials, advertisements. The media department size and scale of the advertising is not important. What's the mind is important. The big bucks are not using spent on production, they are being spent on broadcasting. So the media department of an advertising agency is responsible for planning and placement of advertising time and space. So it is the function that in recent years has undergone considerable change in the organizational structure of an advertising agency, and the proliferation of media forms and the escalating cost of media time have brought a new focus to the agency media department. Now we will talk about how can client agency relationship be improved. So the relationship between the client and the fundraising agency can be critical factor in determining the success of a client fundraising work. A close relationship in which everyone feels part of the same team can not only help both the parties to produce better fundraising material and get better result, but it can also make the whole process of developing the appeals more efficient and enjoyable. So the ultimate aim of team that is created by the client and the agency working together to raise as much money as possible so that charity can be pursued its social aims. Each of the priorities below are important, means forwarding the overall end. So understanding both client and agency to each other, parties make the effort to understand each other's work. Trust is very important in client agency relationship. Both parties trust each other and work maintain the trust, including communicating well, meeting deadline, agreeing fair pricing, flexibility. There's a space in the relationship for both the parties to suggest new ideas, adjust things and improve things. Both should respect each other, both the parties, the client and the agency, competency and situation of other. They should understand and communicate in a respectful way, shared responsibility. In the best client agency relationship, both parties will feel an equal sense of responsibility and commitment to work they are producing. So now we will summarize the whole lecture, what we have discussed today. So business relationships assume a prominent role in the strategy of leading firm, large and small. And client agency relationship are one of the most complex in this business environment, requiring a substantial level of collaboration of effective client agency relationship. This means advertiser and ad agency, cordial relationship with full trust and confidence, which is must to get maximum from ad agency. And agency can work with free hand. The major department in ad agency is account service or account management. Agency relationship is one of the most complex form of business association. They are in a need of good cooperation to be effective and achieve sufficient outcomes for both the side. Client turnover means client changing their ad agency. A client does not approach an agency only because it produces creative stuff on its media strength, and the ultimate aim of the team that is created by the client and agency working together is to raise as much money as possible, so that charity can be pursued its social aim. In today's world, which is the fast moving and dynamic, people wants, needs and desire are changing. It is very important to know them and give them what they want. This is the main objective of advertising, where ad agency plays a major role in the market research, making creative, launching new campaign, taking feedback from the consumer and making any product famous and acceptable among consumer. So ad agency are playing an important role in shaping present and future of not just selected brand but of the entire organization. So that is all we have discussed today. Hope you have enjoyed the session and you have understood the concept very well. So there will be another interesting episode of structure of advertising agency in the next part. Till then, take care, good day and namaskar.